Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the most delicious chicken Kievs. They look complicated, but they're so easy to do even with one hand. In my bowl here I have 120 grams of softened butter, and into that I'm going to put garlic, parsley and chives. Now I'm using the dried variety, but you can use fresh obviously. I just haven't got those at hand, so I'm using dried. Now all I'm going to do is mix this together so that all of the herbs and the garlic are mixed through this. Now it's good to use a spatula for this, or something like this Maurice here, because what we're going to do now, I'm not good with cling film, so what I tend to do is cut up plastic bags because they're easier for me to manage. These are just little sandwich bags. Now I'm going to plump my butter onto here. All you need to do is put your butter onto either cling film, foil, whatever you've got at hand, but I do like using sandwich bags. Then what we're going to do is just roll this up. Now we want this quite long and thin. This is the beauty of using these bags, because you can do all sorts with them. Look at that. Right, I'm going to pop this into the freezer now to solidify while I prepare the chicken. Right, while our butter's solidifying, we're going to flatten our chicken. Now, as you can see, I've already done a couple here. So, what we need to do, use your cutting board for this and push that right down. Then you need to take a knife and start making a cut just there on your chicken. So you've got like a little pocket going on. I'm going to turn it round. There we go. There we go. Now that's all I need to do here. I'm going to take a piece of plastic and put it on my board, and I'm going to place my chicken fat side towards you, that way, away from me. Now as you can see, I've got a little hole there, but don't worry about that too much, because by the time we've bashed this, it will be fine. Here we go. Now, what we need to do, you can do this with a rolling pin or use a meat hammer. Now I'm going to use the serrated part first. We start bashing this chicken down, because we're going to have to fold this later with the butter in it. So you just keep working around your chicken. Now I'm going to use the flat side to see how it's going. Then I'm going to rearrange my plastic and just have a feel and see how it's going. Now what we'd like, we're going to have to fold this parcel like, so it needs to be quite wide at one part. Here we go. So just keep bashing. There we go. That's looking more like it. Right, I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. Now that's quite thin. How easy was that? Now what I'm doing is putting them on the plate, because I need now to chill them down a bit before we get on to the next bit. So, around about 15 minutes, just chill them off a little bit in the fridge. I'll see you in a moment. Well, my chicken has chilled down beautifully, as has my butter. So, just going to move my chicken over. As you can see, where I've put it in the freezer, it's nicely solid. So, I'm going to take that bit of plastic off. I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to bring the chicken across to here. Now, you want to really use the widest side for this. So, I'm going to cut my butter into 4. She says, this really is solid. I've probably left it a tad too long, but it will be a good thing in the end. I'm going to take my butter and put it in my chicken. There we go. And I'm going to use the fattest edge here. Now I need to roll it over a tad, just a tad, like this. Then I want to pull my edges in. And this is why I'm using the fat bits like that. Then I'm going to roll it over. Make sure I've got these edges tucked. Over again. There we go. So now we've got this totally encased. I'm going to turn it round, because what I need to do now, try and keep it on the plastic. What I need to do now is roll this up as tight as I can. So here we go. There we go. I'm going to place that in a pan. Then we get on with the next one. So take the first piece of plastic off. Here we go. Lovely. Now I want the fattest end here. So what we're going to do is put our butter on and roll over. Making sure we sort of tuck these side bits in. Just a little bit like that. Then we're going to roll right over. You can adjust this as you go. It's not a problem. And I've got an extra bit of chicken there. There we go. Just make sure you've totally encased that butter. Turn it round. This is not ideal on this sticky mat. Then I'm going to, making sure I've got those edges tucked in. You can readjust. I'm going to roll it up like I did with the last one. Roll it up tight as you can. And place it into your pan. So I'm going to continue just like that. Now what we need to do, just going to push them upwards. I don't know if you can see this with my fingers. So they're nice and tight now. Now we're going to chill these for an hour at least, 2 hours if possible, in the fridge before we start to egg and breadcrumb these. I'll see you when they're properly chilled down. Well, my Kievs have chilled down nicely here. So now I'm going to coat them up. So I need to unwrap carefully, and I'm going to drop it in some flour. There we go. Just give it a bit of a coat in flour. Make sure I get the ends. The next thing I'm doing is dropping it into some beaten egg. Now I've got a slotted spoon here, because what I want to do is pick it up in a moment when I've coated it with egg. I don't want to move these any more than I have to, because I don't want to undo all the lovely packing up I've done here. So coat it with egg, and then I'm going to pick it up with this slotted spoon to drain it before putting it into some panko or breadcrumbs. Now I've bought these. These are panko crumbs. They're just ready-made breadcrumbs, and you can get these anywhere and they're cheap. Quite often I make my own, as you know, but for this I'm going to use the panko. There we go, and I'm going to put that on an oiled surface. Next, so I need to work quite quickly before these heat up under my lights because it's really hot in here. So here comes the next one. Into the flour, not a problem. I'm going to work fairly quickly with this. Into my egg and make sure that's really coated up, because that's going to help seal everything when we come to cook. Just make sure it's got egg on it and not all flour, because I want that panko to stick. Pick it up into my panko. There we go. Now I'm not getting in too much of a mess. Coat it up. You can actually push this a bit to make sure it is coated all over. There we go. Oh look, there we go. And obviously I make a big mess when I'm doing anything like this, as you know. Now it doesn't matter if they're warming up a bit now because they're done, but as I said, I'm going to work quite quickly to get these done because it's very hot. And that's our last one done. Now it's a little bit of a faff, I'll agree, but it's well worth the effort because these are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and they'll be tender as anything, because don't forget what we did was hammer these at the beginning. Now I'm going to put these into the fridge till I'm ready to cook them really, but it's nice to have them nice and firm before you put them into the frying pan. So I'm just going to have a clean up and I'll come back and we'll cook one. Well, I've chilled down my Kievs. Now I'm going to put these back in the fridge. I only want to be cooking one at the moment because we're actually having these for dinner tonight. So you've got a number of options in terms of cooking these. You can just spritz them and put them in your air fryer. I'll give you the times as I speak. You can oven cook these, or you can do what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to actually fry these right now. So in it goes. And there we are, we're just sizzling. Now, because these are quite thick, you want to cook them quite slowly, and I won't turn this for around 8 minutes. Well, my chicken's nearly done. Now, I've got one of these thermometers, and chicken cooks at around 78 degrees. So I can just keep an eye on this. Anyway, this is cooked. So I'm going to whack it quickly onto some greaseproof paper, and then I'm going to move it onto my pan. Now you can dish this up with just about anything, any combination. I like it with green beans and new potatoes, that's lovely. Or you can do a salad with this, absolutely beautiful. I'm going to leave that to rest for a couple of minutes. Oh wow, I've left it just to relax a little bit before I try and eat it. The recipe is in my book, Now this one is full colour, and I think it's about €26 on Amazon. I didn't particularly set the prices for these because that's down to Amazon. However, I've also produced a black and white version that comes in at €18. And as you can see, I've broken it up into a plastic folder, and I use this in the kitchen all the time. But my small Victory's cookbook is available on all Amazon platforms. I do recommend it. I've sold a few already, which is good. It also comes in a hardback. So, I typed that with one finger. Anyway, getting back to this, I think I'm going to try and cut it first. Oh, look, here comes the butter. And it's in there, look. Beautiful. I've got to lick my fingers because I've touched it. Now that has come out beautiful. That butter and those herbs are all stayed in there. So all that effort earlier was well worth it. Right, I'm going to try this now. Have a bit of crumb that I've knocked off, and I'm going to blow this because look at that, it's steaming hot. Oh my. That chicken is so tender, and that sauce, it's flavoured all of this chicken, and it's nice and crunchy on top. What more could you ask from a Kiev than that? You could put a slice of cheese in there as well if you really wanted to, but that wouldn't be a traditional Kiev. Oh, that is delightful. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video today. If you did, please like, share and subscribe to see me making more cost-effective, delicious food. Thank you for watching.